Hello YouTube and welcome to part 4 of our two-handed physical Archon playthrough, where in this episode we will be dipping our toes into Forgotten Gods to get a movement rune, and then continuing onwards with Act 2. So one thing we need to do before we do that though is fix our piercing and bleeding resistances, because Act 2 has a lot of people with pistols and they will hurt. So to do that, we're going to craft some silk swatches, which you can come to the blacksmith, go to accessories and consumables, and type in SIL, because you need to make resilient plating in order to get your silk swatch, as you can see. This is not a component that drops, you have to craft these, so we can only craft one of them. We will do so, we will make a silk swatch, and that will go on the shoulders. Can I make a scaled hide? No, I cannot. So I'm missing a bristly fur in order to make the scaled hide. I wonder if I can craft that actually. I can, bristly fur. I think I just needed one. Yep, scaled hide. So what this one does is plus 35 armor on the location where you put it, and also increases your armor absorption by 20%. So if you look here on your character sheet, you'll notice that for each area there's a chance to hit, there's an armor rating, and then there's an armor absorption percentage. So that 70% is how effective your armor is at absorbing the amount. So for example, we get hit on the chest, which is a 26% chance. You will mostly get hit on your chest piece, which is somewhat disappointing then that it is our lowest armor value. But we do have an upgrade coming in 3 levels. But let's say we get hit for 100 damage on our chest. Now, our armor would normally absorb 82, and we would take 18. But because we have only 70% absorption, we actually only get 70% of that armor rating. So I'm not going to try and do maths here, but it's going to be somewhere around about, I'd say 60 is what we actually get. And by increasing the armor absorption amount with this scaled hide, that number will actually go up. We'll get more of our armor value will be applied to hits.
Is it finished?
So we'll talk to Bourbon and Mornay. I guess whoever was making this was hungry when they did it. And we will go to the portal for Forgotten Gods. Now, when you kill the warden, the emissary here will appear in each of the towns, and he will offer to open a portal and start a big quest chain. This particular section of the game, we're in the Conclave of the Three, this entire Corvin Basin section of the map, canonically happens after Ashes of Malmo, which happens after the base game. So we have effectively skipped to like Act 7 or something like that, which will explain why the monsters hit so damn hard and take so little damage. But we are just here for one thing, and that is a movement rune. We're gonna join the Cult of Dreeg, because I prefer their movement rune. You can join whichever cult you prefer. Bismil has pet stuff, Salile has like fire and chaos stuff, and Dreeg has like acid and vitality stuff. But realistically, you're going to end up having maximum faction with all of them. Your choice will affect what movement rune you have access to straight away, what quests you end up doing, and the Bismil quests are actually considerably easier than the others. But none of them are particularly hard, and this build doesn't actually require any gear from Forgotten Gods, so we could just completely skip this content until we get to Ultimate and then just go do them all back to back to back for the augments, which realistically is the only thing we want. There's a bit of faffing about in the start here because there are so many lore notes on the floor in this area. We're not going to talk to Bismeal, we're going to come up here to Dreeg. I'm going to drop a portal and kind of jump across. Just save a bit of time walking. And I probably missed some of those lore notes, but whatever, it's good enough. I will speak with them. I'm actually only going to speak to one of them. As I said, you can pick whichever cult you prefer. I'm picking Dreeg just entirely because I want their movement rune. So if you come to Raider, I want the Emblem of Focus Rage. And that just goes on your medal, and it will give you a movement ability. This movement ability allows me to charge a target. It's very similar to the Soldier's Blitz, though nowhere near as much damage and no skills to modify it or anything like that. If you were instead to choose Bismeal, you could take the Shadowy Assassin emblem, which is effectively Shadow Strike but weaker, or the emblem of the Leaping Mantis, which like you just jump to the area you have targeted. I'm not a big fan of that one, but I guess it works. Or if you come with Soleil, who is over here. Actually, the Soleil faction is up there, but their merchant is down here. You get a Agile Huntress, which I think is, yeah, it's a disengage. So this one jumps backwards. And then you have the Charging Bull, which is a rush, which I believe is similar to Vaya's Might. Again, nowhere near as damaging. Can't modify it, etc., but pretty good. Alright, so we got level 18, which gives us access to Upheaval, which I'll probably take 1 point in it. Requires two-handed weapon, activates off default weapon attacks. When you land a critical strike. Okay, we're going to skip that for now. If you look at our offensive ability, the last thing we attacked was Ulzar. Our chance to crit is 0%, so this will not trigger, at least for now. So I think I'll take 1 point in Heart of the Wild, and the last point will either go in Tenacity of the Boar, or another point in Savagery. We take Savagery up to 10. We might stop putting points in the bar here for a little bit, just to max out Savagery and Tenacity of the Boar. The other thing we could do is not take Soldier, Oathkeeper. We do want to get a few points in Smite, which will be another proc that we can use when we're auto-attacking. And this one does give you an arc and a maximum number of targets, so this will hit things in an arc in front of you, which is something we need to get. So we might even spend, what, 3 levels getting that? But either way, we are done with the Forgotten Gods section for now. Let's continue with Act 2. To repair the bridge, just up here, you do need 6 scrap, and you need, I think it's 4,009 bits, 3,009 bits. We will fix that, and we'll go find Shanks. Using our new movement rune will speed things up a little bit. I think I really want to get a new pair of boots. That fire damage we're trailing is quite distracting. Also in Act 2, this fire is not something I want to stand in. Because in Act 2 there are monsters that will throw fire bombs at you and put fire on the ground. So I really want to replace those. These will go on at level 20. This amulet actually we were keeping for now. Alright, let's kill Shanks. He's got a few friends, so I'll try and pick off a few of those before I try and aggro him. Because if you do take it all on at once, it can be a little painful. I am playing more defensive than I normally would though, for sure. Alright, let's Leroy this. So Shanks does a decent amount of damage, but I think the major danger from him is if you just charge in there with all of his friends in the area, the risk is that you'll be fighting him and all of his friends will be plink plink plink, chipping away at your health. And we don't have a huge amount of those same boots again. I'm just going to sell those ones this time, I think. Yeah, the real danger is that you'll go in there, try and fight Shanks, and his friends will kill you while you're focused on him. So if you thin the herd a little bit, it's a little more safe. Stephen Skinner here will give us a ring if we save his family. If you put your mouse just above the bottom option, you can just click through, and it will select the right options to send him to Devil's Crossing. And I'm going to go talk to him right now, since I know that this ring is basically not very good. So we'll go talk to him, we'll grab his ring and replace the one we have. So as you can see, some flat physical damage, percent physical damage, health, pierce and LE resist. This ring is quite good for where we are in the game. There is, however, a bit of a choice coming up just ahead of us. There is... it's a little bit of a moral choice, because if you take the quote-unquote good choice, you get a merchant later in the game in Homestead who will sell you some stuff that is, you know, it's pretty useful. He'll sell you some potions, basically, which normally you would have to craft, and they're you know, decently expensive. But if you take the bad side, and make no mistake about it, is definitely taking the side of the bad person, you get to kill the merchant and his daughter and take their ring. And their ring is quite good for leveling. On the north side of Homestead, you run into a lot of monsters that do chaos damage. And typically when you get there, your chaos resistance is going to be quite low. And this ring will give you a decent chunk of chaos resist. So it is very useful for leveling, but Drew Larkin here, he's dying. I forget what happened to him, but his partner is the reason why he's there dying. I forget if he stabbed him or beat him up or something, but so he's asked us to go and find his partner and sort him out. I'm just going to say right now, we are going to take the evil option, because I want that ring. But to be clear, it is the evil option, and I'm probably a bad person for doing it. But we're going the power gamer route. We're going to take the nice ring, and I'll show what was going on, or I'll explain what was going on when we get to the merchant with his caravan. Maybe I won't kill him. It's a nice ring, but man, you feel like a dick when you do it, especially when you know the story of what was actually happening here. Yeah, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll take the good path. We can get our chaos resistance somewhere else. Right. Shrine to fight for. Let's get it. These guys do a lot of cold damage, specifically Odelia Lanos here, but ghosts in general do a decent amount of cold damage. I think our cold resist is maxed at the moment. It's not, but it's 75%, so he could be doing 4 times as much damage to us. So it's good that he's not. Rare amulet. Nice for pets, not so good for us. Right, devotion shrines. We were doing the lizard, so as we could get this. So we now have access to the Kraken, which is all damage health, health attack speed, all damage move speed, crit damage, and physical resist. We're taking all of that. All of that is good for us. None of it is bad. I think the cast speed is a little wasted, but the rest of it is really good, so we're going to take that. There's one more thing here in this cave that I want to hit, and that is the one-shot chest, which is up here with this guy. So we'll work our way there, and then we'll go out the back door to this cave and continue onwards. Just clear up the trash and go say hello to this guy. Okay, Barros Radlith, if that really is your name. Just beat him down. He's got 2 chests here, one of which is, so this Exalted Stash is only there once per difficulty, and is guaranteed to have a blue item in it. And then the coffin in the middle here is also going to have a decent chunk of items in it. I'm seeing a lot of misses. It might be time to find a way to increase our OA. Okay, rare amulet. That is not going to be used. MI, that's also not going to be used. And let's see what we get from the chest. We got a shield, so that is completely useless. This weapon might be good. We are going to put that weapon on. It's considerably better. Attack speed, fizz damage, and actually some defensive stuff on there as well. So yes, we will use that. This metal, even though it's rare, I don't think it's worth it. I do want to get rid of those boots. The fire is quite distracting. Alright, so we'll skip all this trash, I think. Let's get out of this cave. That is the one downside to trying to skip trash, is if they get you surrounded, now you have to fight all of them. That could potentially be the last mistake you make. Alright, so we talked to the guy's partner. Coming up on the actual caravan. Alright, caravan is down here. There's bits of it, I think you can see there. It may not be the same caravan, but it is a caravan. Okay. So, Isaiah Redden is that guy's partner. We are going to give him a chance to... You know what? We're just gonna... We'll take the merchant. 1 ring to help effectively a rapist, which is what the guy we talked to back here. The reason he's lying there dying is because he tried to rape this guy's daughter. And yeah, I like the ring, but not enough to help someone like that. I know it's not actually a person, but it's still, you know, no, we're not doing that. Decision made either way. So this is where we meet the Rovers. We are sent to find their elder who has a relic, and this guy wants us to blow up a checkpoint that the bandits have set up with dynamite. So this is our introduction to dynamite. If you haven't already found it previously, which we have not, you will find your first dynamite in this cave across the bridge here. Feels a lot better now with the weapon upgrade. If you ever find yourself kind of feeling a little bit meh on this character, I found looking for a new weapon in the NPC's shops goes a long way towards making it feel a bit better. One other thing we want while we're in here is if we whack these hives, or kill any elite bees or whatever, they have a chance to drop royal jelly, like that. These are used for making most of the potions in the game. And, well, that's very convenient. You don't normally get 3 in this cave. In fact, usually I get between 0 and 1. So, I guess this is stream of luck, maybe. But you do have a quest coming up where you need 3 of them. So, I'm glad they dropped. I think we can safely move on now. Right, this star here is the dynamite we were sent to get, and the guy guarding it, where is he? Nicholas Balthazar, is usually pretty tough. He does a lot of damage. You can see my health bar is all over the place. We're gonna have to run away from this, actually. I think I will just grab the dynamite and run. I've been noticing a lot of gear dropping that has pet stats on it. Maybe it's just because I've been playing a necromancer a little bit over the week, but I really have been noticing a lot of pet gear drop. Probably it always drops and I'm just noticing it because of the necromancer. This is a detonation site. This is where we are going to use the dynamite once we get down there. Just heading up the top here to find the elder that we were sent to rescue. Actually, they don't care so much about the elder itself, it's more they want the relic. Which we are going to lie to them and say we didn't find it. So, yes, we will do what he asks. And then we are going to steal their relic, because at the moment, we don't have one. And this relic is pretty good. You can't actually craft this relic, you have to steal it. So we will steal it, and we'll probably use it for most of normal difficulty. Alright, blow the barrier up. I'm actually going to go back now and talk to them. That will get us our new relic, and also an extra inventory bag. So you want to tell him you found the Elder, and then you can either give them the relic back, which will give you more reputation, or you can lie, which is what we're going to do, and now you get the Bone Talisman, which is 5% to your stats, and the activatable will give you 100% all damage and a bunch of energy regeneration. So this is really good for casters, and actually the damage increase is really good for everybody. So there's our inventory bag, some reputation, and some iron bits. So now you can see we have 2 additional bags here. There will be, I think, up to 5 additional bags once we've done all the quests. Let's continue onwards. Okay, also we got another level. I think we take Oathkeeper and we work towards getting Smite. Alright, we are running away from that. That is a nope mob. That is a group of monsters that I want nothing to do with. The big rock golems will throw rocks at you, they will stun you, they do huge amounts of damage. No. No. We are avoiding that at all costs. Normally you can head up there and you'll get like a pig or 2, or maybe even 3. But those golems are they're a run ender, especially in hardcore. Those at low levels, even high levels, do a lot of damage. That is a big chunk of armor. We're going to put those on, and I'm going to go back to town and get our silk swatch back. The one good thing about the inventor being right next to the portal is you don't have to go very far to do this. So to get our silk swatch back, we will have to destroy the shoulders. So I want to keep the add-on and put that on our new shoulders. I'm going to do this fairly regularly when we find items to upgrade. Especially later, you will find components that you have to craft, but they are very expensive to craft. They use rare materials, especially relics. Some of them use like monster infrequent drops as part of the crafting, and they can be quite a pain to replace. So a lot of the time later on, your components are actually going to be way more valuable to you than the piece of gear that they're on. Probably a silk swatch is not quite that valuable, but I have no intention of using those shoulders again anyway, whereas the silk swatch I will probably use until most likely all the way to 100. This cave, normally I have to come in here to get the royal jelly I need for the quest. I came in here purely out of habit. We don't need to be in here. And the queen here does a lot of poison damage and can shotgun you, which hopefully I kind of feel like she's about to try it. Yeah, that. She hit me with one of those and it took a huge chunk out of my bar. So you definitely don't want to get shotgunned by that. I don't know if she'll do it in melee range. Maybe more unlikely, but I think she does. Aegis of Mania, what's that? That's the shield throw thing, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So this MI is no good to us. I say that, but that is a lot of offensive ability and pierce resistances. I am actually going to put that on, I think. It did lower our elemental resistances a bit, but that OA means our chance to hit has gone up a lot. That is one of the weaknesses I found last time I was leveling this build. Because the Coyote recommends basically maxing a whole bunch of skills, and so he will have you put 1 point in the bar, and then max Savagery, max Brute Force, and then go up to 5 and take Might of the Bear, and then go up to 10 and max out Feral Hunger. I have a lot more points in this bar than he would at this level, and I really noticed that I was having trouble with my stats. But that is one of the weaknesses I found of this build, is early on you really struggle to hit things. So I'm actually going to take... no, we wanted the proc. Take the proc. I think I'm going to come back and focus on Tenacity of the Boar a little bit, just for that offensive ability, so I can actually hit things. Alright, as I say, I actually didn't need to do that. If you don't have the 3 royal jelly from the previous cave, I've actually got 5. If you don't have those, you will need to go into the B cave there and just get 3. You'll need 3 for the quest. So, freebie shrine. Alright, there's our new boots. Explorer's footpads, run speed, bonus XP, decent armor. I don't think they have amazing resistances. Yeah, just a bit of bleed. But that's a lot of move speed. The XP bonus is nice. New boots. Do I have a Mark of the Traveler yet? I don't think I've seen one, but potentially. Doesn't look like it. Alright, devotion points. 1 point in Kraken. 50% all damage. This constellation, for two-handers, any build that uses a two-hander, whether that's a rifle, a scythe, a big hammer, whatever it happens to be, the Kraken is the devotion you want. So we're going to pick up quite a bit of damage from that devotion over the next few levels. Alright, we'll go down here to New Harbour. There isn't a quest that's pretty easy to do. Talk to Alicia here. What's happening? Anything I can do to help? Of course I'll help you. And then Silas here. You can either kill him or pay him to go away. So I'm going to pay him because this lets us turn iron bits into scrap. So we got 3 scrap for 2,500 iron bits. It's a decent trade. Normally, I think they're 800 something iron bits for a piece of scrap from a merchant. So not an awful trade. Alright, Mornay sent me, what do you need? We have a deal. This guy here is going to want us to kill a troll. And the troll is just to the north here. You can see the star on the map. This guy's going to hurt, so I'm going to maybe let these NPCs take a chunk out of him before I try and kill him. That was not a very big chunk. That's alright. Probably shouldn't be tanking that swing either. So I think... yeah, it's probably time to disengage. Let's get our regen our health back up, and then we'll go back in. Alright, here we go. There we go, dead. Troll Bone Crusher, that is the weapon that we will be using. Look at that massive increase to DPS. So, Superior of Cruelty, very good affixes. So level 21, in half a level, we turn God Mode on. These boots are not as good. Okay, we're going to sell those. I'm going to swap that armor in, and then I need to go back to town to get the scaled hide out of that. That was very, very lucky drop to get from that troll. I very rarely will see that drop from him, so I'm quite happy about that. Giving my add-on back, which I will put in the chest. And you notice the armor in the chest just went from like 60 up to 240. That's really going to help with our survivability. That means a quarter of all attacks against us are now going to be reduced by, say, 220 or so, 200-ish, instead of being reduced by about 50. So that's a big boost to our survivability right there. As long as we're here, I'm going to empty my bags, and I think there's a few people to talk to progress quests and whatnot. Nope, not yet. I haven't killed Crumley. Alright. Yeah, that was a really lucky drop. We are about to turn, not God mode, but we are about to do a lot of damage. Doesn't look like we have enough faction to take that quest. When we come back, there will be a quest there. That will be where the Royal Jelly quest is. Apparently they don't like us enough yet, though. I typically go through Hanafi Mine here. It lets me skip the dueling pit up the back. I've lost way too many hardcore characters to Wrecked by Protoss and the other one that starts with A, and Boris, Master of the Pits. Those are actual PvP designed characters made by players. They were put in the game after they won a PvP tournament. So as you can probably imagine, they're pretty good at killing player characters. And so I avoid the area. Also in here there is a guaranteed dynamite drop. And I like dynamite. probably should explain why I like dynamite. So starting, I think, in the Mountain Deeps, or potentially in the Arcovian Undercity, I think, you will start running into these treasure chests, called treasure troves, that require a dynamite to open. And what's inside those is often blueprints, and if there's not a blueprint, there's almost always a rare crafting material, like the tainted brains and hearts and such. Occasionally Ugden blooms, and later on there's more rare crafting materials, but you can get them from treasure troves. They have decent chances to drop blue and purple items. Not so much purple now because you can't get them until 50, but the loot is really good, and you need a dynamite to get into those chests. So for a new account, when you don't have dynamite kind of raining from the sky, craftable later on, it is definitely worth it to go out of your way to get the dynamite from that mine, and even to avoiding that pit is definitely worth it as well. See, this guy's got his blade shield up. You actually can't hurt him while that's active. It's a Nightblade skill. It's a little bit annoying, especially because it usually takes you a bit to notice that he's using it. Alright, continuing on. So as we go around the bandit camps here, you'll notice I've been killing or blowing up their forges. That is a quest for the Rovers as well. And the third one I'm going to destroy is over here under a tent. There it is. Alright, 3 out of 3. So that quest is done. And now we are going to go into the mine here and find good old Darius Crumley. In this mine you will find a bunch of aether and fire damage from the gang members. You will also find one shrine, one monster shrine, one desecrated shrine. So you will get a devotion point and hopefully a level. I would really like to equip that troll bone crusher. Okay, Moneybags here. Moneybags, if you are looking for dynamite, Moneybags is who you want to come see. When you kill him, he drops anywhere between 0 and I think 3 dynamite, maybe just 2. But usually he will drop 1 most of the time, but not all of the time. Regardless, there is also a quest to kill him. There we go, just the 1 dynamite. I'm going to have a look at this gear, see if we can replace anything. These pants have got poison, bleeding, and pierce resistance on them, and much more armor and health. So we will lose 11% physical damage, and gain a whole bunch of defensive stats. But one thing you do have to remember is, where is it? Here we go. So physical, we're already at 170%. So realistically, that 11% will take us up to 180%. So it's not actually increasing your damage by 11%, it's more like increasing your damage by like 1, maybe 2%. So when you see those on a piece of gear, just remember they're additive, they're not multiplicative. And so an item with 100% all physical damage seems really good, but I mean later on you're going to be close to 2000, so actually that 100% is realistically only about 5%. It's still nice, but the later in the game you go, the less and less those huge percentages are worth, because they are added together and then multiplied at the end rather than being 11% more for each item. What is this totem? Regular spirit totem. I think we can take that. So when we kill those ghouls, they leave those red puddles on the ground. It's I think it's bleeding damage, which bleeding resist is 50%, so not a big deal. And we just hit 21, so you know what that means? We get a new bashy stick. That is such a huge increase in damage. I think it's mostly from the Feral Hunger proc, gets an arc added to it, 5 extra targets, adds weapon damage to it, adds flat physical damage to it, converts all the lightning damage on Savagery to physical damage, adds a bunch of bleed damage to it, plus 4 to Savagery, plus 4 to Feral Hunger. Like, these are all things that we are using. It's converting damage to the damage type that we want. It's adding more of the damage type we want. This weapon is just, it's perfect for this build. You really can't ask for a better weapon. How is this chest? Less armor. Don't really care about 11% damage, as I was just saying. The speed is nice, but this is a pistol item, and we're not playing a pistol build, so we'll leave that. Will give us a nice chunk of coin. Alright, watch how fast these die now. It's basically one swing. And when the proc goes off, it's, you know, everything in front of us is deleted. Alright, so new devotion point. New quest here, the Annals of Arcovia. This gives you a lore note for a little bit of XP and some lore, and also this quest item, which is you turn in at one of the rover camps. I think it's the most recent one we've been to, and that'll give you another huge chunk of XP. These boots we're not going to use, but we do have the Kraken. So we've got the old damage. I think we'll skip the fizz resisting crit damage and take the movement speed and all damage. And I did actually think there was another one of those, but there isn't. Regardless, 5% move speed, 70% all damage, good stuff. So we're going to start moving on at a little bit faster here. Get through this dungeon. I think I'll kill Cronley and then split the video. Don't want the videos to be like an hour and a half long. Nice little, easily digestible videos is kind of what I was aiming for, but I think I've let this one go on a bit too long. But that's alright. Don't think my legion of fan will complain. I think there's about 3 people watching these videos at the moment. Okay. Now, if we had not, back in Act 1, found that book in that hut and killed, I forget his name, the guy who was in the middle of town. If you don't kill him in Act 1, he'll be standing here, having betrayed you again, and you'll have to fight him to open that door. Crumley's hideout, in addition to the Hanafi mine and whatever the name of the first mine is, all of them have guaranteed dynamite spawns, and all of them have a chance to drop dynamite from any treasure chest or anything in here, or at least from the scrap piles, potentially not from treasure chests. All of the elite bosses, so anything with a star above its head, has a chance to drop it as well. So if you ever find yourself in need of dynamite, just run through these 3 mines. You're guaranteed 3. Money bags, I think, is potentially another 2 or 3. And all of these wasp nests and scrap piles and stuff have a chance for more. So this is the guaranteed dynamite for this particular area. I think we can skip all this trash. We're not going to get another level before we get to Crumley. Okay, so Darius Crumley. Depending on where you decide you want to split the acts, Darius Crumley is the boss of Act 2. Or he's kind of halfway through Act 2, depending on if you want to include all the way to Homestead as still Act 2, or if you want to say this is kind of the end of it. Regardless, yeah, let's go kill him. You do get to talk to him the first time you come in here. You can go through all this, you can ask where Elsa is. Elsa is a girl who started out with Monet when they were heading to... I forget where they were going. He ended up in Devil's Crossing, she ended up elsewhere. I won't spoil it. Anyway, something like that. Yep, die. So we're going to use our relic for another 100% damage. See this bubble? That is an Arcanist skill. We can hurt him, but he's reducing our damage by like 95% or something silly. So kind of just wasted the relic. But that's alright, we have more than enough damage to kill him. Okay, and he dropped his ring. So he has an MI ring, which is pretty good for melee builds. That is a lot of offensive. Attack speed is nice. Pierce resist is, I think I may put that on instead of the Skinner family seal. Just because I really need the OA, like at the moment. We actually have a crit chance now, which is nice. I'm okay with that. We will keep that, I think. And I'm going to bring Smite. What's the chance of that? 12. We can get up to 20. What do we get for level 5? I think maybe 4 will be enough. But we'll put a few points into that just to increase the trigger chance. Okay, Marauder's Gloves. Fire damage, cold damage, worthless, worthless, worthless. Attack speed. Slightly more armor. I don't think it's worth it. The attack speed would be nice. Okay, so Cronley's little lab here. Bash this. Sometimes has lore notes in it. This Aether cluster. We're going to blow it up. You get two options. You can either destroy the lab and the crystal, in which case I think you get more XP, or you can destroy the lab and keep the crystal for yourself. You pretty much always want to keep some of the crystal, because it gives you an Aether cluster. And if you look at what it does, 75% damage absorption and 100% skill disruption protection for 8 seconds. This is a panic button, especially for hardcore, but I mean it's still good for softcore as well. And I pretty much always have one on my 7. No matter what build I'm playing, I pretty much have one of these there ready to go at all times in hardcore. But that will be it, I think, for this particular video. Stay tuned for part 5. Thanks very much, and see you in the next one.